Okay, now I'm recording it to the cloud so I can send it.
Yeah, that's all I need, just so I can put it in there.
Okay.
Okay. So did you guys both get the documents that I sent out as far as the end of the year report and the monies received throughout this year? And then also I just forwarded again to make sure everybody had a copy of the signed joint powers agreement.
Yes, I got those.
And again, thank you, Jessica, for having us getting the help on that to get that rewritten, because there was some stuff that really needed to be cleaned up in it.
Not a problem.
I did
So
notice
it worked out well.
was now. I don't think it'll make a difference. So
So do you have any question about the carryover that'll be for next year for your counties? You should see that on the very bottom line down there where I have it marked in yellow, where it says carried over to 2021. So the good news for Bingham County, it's in the black. It's in
That
the
is
black
good.
quite a ways. So that's a good sign, really good sign. Other than that, I don't have a lot going on. I mean, things are just the way that they are with COVID, where most of the people that we're getting in are kids that are being either on their way to commitment to DJC, or kids that are, because of their crimes, are being held here until they turn 18 and go into county jails.
how many you got?
5 today. I had more over the weekend, and then some got released.
Hmm.
And it's interesting, it's funny because I listen to my radio all the time, and there's contact with juveniles all the time, but they're just not making arrests. Most of the ones are being right now are just being cited and released back to parents. Seems to be kind of a COVID trend in most of the counties at the moment.
I think it's even kind of a trend in adult jail as much as
I
they
agree.
can.
Yeah, there's no question. It seems like the count at the jails has been affected as well because of what's happening. So, but the good news is, as far as we're at, I mean, we're sitting pretty good financially. Done, it's been good work between all of the counties for a long time to keep us in that position. And it goes to show, with even without program here, which we really without getting revenue for this last year, it gave us a pretty good idea what a clean year would look like without having that type of an impact of revenue coming in, because literally there was only about $8,000 of revenue that came from program this year.
Any chance of that coming back?
The state numbers are still so low that I've been told that there's only 2 other providers out there that the state is currently using. And because the numbers are so low, they're going to be ending those contracts with those other providers. They're sitting at about 180 kids in state's custody right now. And when campus can hold 140, Lewiston can hold about 70, and Nampa can hold 60. They got a lot of beds sitting open in state's custody. Which for Bonneville is kind of deceiving, because Bonneville County alone right now, I know Bingham just had a Rule 19 today. They're getting potentially ready to commit a kid from Bingham, but Bonneville has the 3rd highest rate of commitments to the state right now. We're only behind Canyon County and Ada County in Bonneville. We have a lot of kids committed to state's custody in Bonneville.
Why is that, do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. I've seen commitments go through this year that I've never have seen before, where kids, it used to be where we'd have kids that have a lot of time in detention. They'd be here 10 times, 12 times before they got a commit or went, in front of a Rule 19 to be committed. And now we're seeing kids coming across the radar that have been in detention once or twice and are being committed.
Judge?
I got to be really careful where I talk.
In your humble opinion.
Well, okay, but there's 2 scenarios to this, and it's really something that I think needs to be taken a look at. One is the judge is the final say on it, but before the judge ever gets to that point, there's a Rule 19 that takes place. And what that Rule 19 has health and welfare, probation, the families, prosecutor, public defenders, part of those Rule 19s, and they all talk about it. And it's that group that makes their determination and sends it forward to the judge on whether they believe a juvenile should be committed to state's custody or not. Now, Shane is part of that Rule 19. He goes to all of those. So the district liaison from DJC goes to those, or I think down in your area, you have Shane or Honolulu who goes to those in Bingham County. But they're part of those meetings too. But it's been a really weird year. I'm telling you, I've seen kids get committed this year that I don't think I would have seen in previous years. And I don't know if part of it's because our probation offices are, you know, the way that they're working right now, partly from home, partly from their office. They're not doing face-to-face contacts with kids. A lot of it's being done by Zoom and things like that. And I don't know. I don't know, you know, it'll be interesting to see where it comes out. I just got put in as the president of the IAC JJA again. And so going to those meetings, I'll be talking again with a lot of the probation departments, juvenile probation departments, along with the detention groups. And that'll be a lot of, you know, that's part of our discussions, along with when we meet with Idaho Department of Juvenile Corrections, you know, because their interest is obviously they take a look at where these kids are coming from. I mean, we're like I said, Bonneville is third in the state, but we're competing against areas that are, you know, twice our size, 3 times our size. And yet we've still got that high number of commits. So I don't know. I think at some point you have to go back and take a look at it. I know that at the last administrator meeting, you know, juvenile detentions have been audited for years through the state of Idaho, through Idaho Department of Juvenile Corrections. We've always been audited. Now there's going to be a process where there's an actual standards for juvenile probation, and there's also going to be an auditing process through the state as well. They don't get audited there often. It'll be about every 3 years that they do, but I think it'll help maybe look at some specific areas, you know, because you can't look at probation as a whole. Obviously, Idaho County, where you have 3 kids and they're 200 miles apart versus Ada County, where you have a whole lot of kids on your caseload and they're within your city. You have to look at each one of those differently. But I definitely think that for a long time we've needed to sit back and take a look at how, you know, how things run and what we're doing within our own communities, because obviously the services are a big part of it too. I mean, we've got more services in our area than, you know, Clark County does, or, you know, a county like that. And so it'll be interesting to see what comes out of it, and you know, how they decide to review that. But we've had really good discussions as far as the administrators go, as far as working with Idaho Department of Juvenile Corrections on those standards, and also sitting back and taking a look at, you know, the academies themselves. What are we teaching at the academies? What are we teaching these people before they come out and hit the streets and go to work for us? And do we need to review that, since we've been going for a long time, to see if we can refine it and make it better? I mean, we've had 43 juvenile detention academies so far since 2000, and we've had 19 probation academies. And so we've got enough academies under our belt to take a look at that without question and see if we're teaching people what they need to be taught before they come out.
How many administrators are there in the state?
There are 12 detention centers in the state of Idaho, and juvenile probation, there are, oh my gosh, we have some counties that are doing dual roles because the counties are so small. So a larger county next to it, they have POs that are farming out, you know, or contracting with other counties. But there's probably at the administrator meetings, there could be upward of about 35 to 40 people that are either in attendance or online. And then the Department of Juvenile Corrections.
Where they're recycling. You and I have been around here too long. When you start getting the second go around.
Well, you know, it's funny. It's just they can't get anybody to do it. A lot of people are afraid to do it for some reason. And they're, it's not like it takes a lot of work, you know, like any board that you sit on. And we do a lot of them, you know, through Zoom, or a lot of our conversations are through Zoom. But even the meetings we're only holding every 3 months. And so travel wise, even for the person who's the, you know, in that are on the board, they don't have to travel that often, and most of the other people can log in by Zoom. But I tell you, if they don't have the voice there, you know, that's when we have problems with certain laws, you know, being presented without having input from the county saying, well, that impacts us a certain way. If you guys press forward with this law or this rule written the way that it is, you know, we need to take a look at it and see if it needs to be changed so it's more effective for everybody that's involved. So, but yeah, it's, you shouldn't have to do it twice when there's that many people, but it's what it is.
Well, I won't be around when you get to do it a third time.
No, I am hoping I won't be around if they get to a third time.
Well, let Jessica
point.
take over.
Yeah. But
How long have you been a commissioner?
I mean,
2 years?
it's pretty, what's up?
2 years, Jessica?
Yep, 2 years.
Are you in a 4-year term or you're running again?
I'm in a 4-year term.
And Mark is up this time, and Whitney,
Yeah,
do they have opposition, or
no. Nope.
you guys have no controversies down there, huh?
Well, not at the county level.
Huh.
You get up to the state races, they get a little interesting.
Yeah, I've noticed a few editorials going back and forth,
Yeah,
trying to figure out who's a Republican, who's a Democrat.
exactly.
I think the state races are gonna get a little crazy this year.
I think
I
the
do.
state legislature this session is going to be nuts. You know?
Yeah.
I always
You know-
thought as I got closer to retirement, that'd be a nice part-time thing to do, and have no desire. Bart Davis,
I don't blame you.
Bart Davis, you know, tried to get me to take his spot or run for it after he left. I thought, you know, I'll stick around here another couple of terms, and because it's going to be it's getting so contentious and nasty anymore. I don't even know.
That's the bad part about it. It's just got nasty.
Yeah.
You know, it's just not that they can't just talk politics, but it's just got nasty, a lot of stuff.
Yeah, too personal. You know, for those of us who just like to do the job.
Exactly. So when are you up again, Roger? Are you
I'm on the ballot this time.
on that this time? And this is a this is this?
Yeah.
That's what I thought, it's a 4-year. Yep.
And then I will definitely be done.
Whatever. Whatever.
This time was come back until we get a few of these young guys trained. And then
What's Reed on right now? What's Brian on right now? Is he on a
he's in
4?
so he'll be here.
That's what, okay.
Yeah, I mean, we're wrapping up a bunch of software conversions and projects that we started. Just couldn't walk out without that. If I get a couple years into it, then I'll be into that term. I'll be on the 3 bad day rule.
He'll be the one that leaves his back door cracked to his office so he can sneak out.
Yeah,
if he needs to.
we'll leave it to a new kid named Walker.
Yep.
John Walker, the new commissioner, is Brian's brother. So.
I won't hold it against him though.
No, I told you, he claims credit for how you grew up. Because he said he let you
Kind of
live.
funny.
He let you live. So, all right, well.
So yeah, if we don't have any questions, I mean, that's where we're at, and we're just starting to punch in, and hopefully by the end of the next 3 months, 2021 will look a whole lot better than 2020 did for everybody.
I hope so.
They keep-
Yeah, exactly.
This too will pass, and you keep saying when. So,
Exactly.
all right,
Jessica, you got anything that I need to know about?
I don't think so. I think we're doing good.
Okay, yeah, you guys are. You gotta be really happy where you're sitting going into this next year.
Looks
it's
really good.
it's helped to have somebody that we could get a look at it instead of continually trying to catch up. So,
Oh, I'm telling you, you're doing a great job down there. You are doing a great job down there.
all right, thanks.
All righty.
You guys have a good day.
Okay,
All
bye.
right, we'll see you. Thank you.
Bye.